business mother-in-law always has to use the sand to force her daughter-in-law to divorce. She also wants her to hand over control of the conglomerate. However, after the daughter-in-law learned the news, she surprisingly the trump card against her mother-in-law. The illegitimate child of my husband that you heard about in rumors is actually my father-in-law's biological son. What? Said Kazuo, and her mother-in-law planned to oust her from the board of the conglomerate, so she had brotherly news about her husband's affair and child outside. Soon, the media launched a massive coverage of the issue. Then Kazuo seized the opportunity and held a live press conference to clarify. As everyone was ready to watch the spectacle, she slowly walked to the podium, promising as a wife that her husband had not cheated. Upon hearing this, the reporters below were criticizing her. How could she deny the obvious fact? Let me tell you the truth. The illegitimate child of my husband that you heard about in rumors is actually my father-in-law's biological son. This trip not only placed the blame squarely on the mother-in-law, but also cleverly diffused the scandal. Most importantly, about time to save the conglomerate. After the press conference, the mistress and her mother were almost frantic. You can't let a cooked duck just fly away. What other options do we have? He has made me sound like a little wife of a man in his 70s. In the afternoon, the mother-in-law warned Wanshu, don't think when he does her till he changes anything. Ordered the daughter-in-law to resign as chairperson of the Compassionate Fortune Group immediately. Wanshu reminded her mother-in-law that if it must be that way, she would hold a press conference to expose it in her capacity as chairperson, exposing the proofs of money laundering activities using the Compassionate Fortune Group. Even if connections are used, this can't be suppressed. It would be difficult to silence public opinion. So don't need to think about touching a terrible foundation. So everything that happens in the future is on your own doing. Alright. If it's for protecting the foundation, I am willing to accept it. A few days later, the furious mother and child were brought home. The mother-in-law deliberately had Wanshu settle the two. After all, it's a family tree she personally created, so she has to freak second mother-in-law to be better. This was where the husband-in-laws belong. They have the right to live in this villa. Take them into the room. Okay. Sorry, mother-in-law. I mean, older sister. Chairperson. Oh, I'm so tired. Wanshu brought the three into the room, warned her that her area of activity at home is limited to this room. Don't even think about joining during mealtime. Just act like you don't exist. Don't let her run into you anywhere else in the house. However, Senator still wants to assert her status as the fifth-second mother-in-law to regain face in terms of power and seniority. I'm your mother-in-law, right? Second mother-in-law. Did you not understand? Answer me! I understand. At night, Donald protects Wanshu on her nighttime run. Nan, he couldn't hold back his curiosity. Curious, he asks why she's so desperate with protecting the conglomerate. It turns out her father-in-law entrusted Wanshu with the task before he died. Don't consider divorce because of the grandson's death. Also, don't entertain that thought in the future. The old man thinks she is the only one he can trust. So Wanshu keeps her promise, even at the cost of her own life. After hearing this, Donald decides to tell Wanshu the truth. The old chairman didn't die at home. The murderer who killed his colleague has targeted her as well, and it's right in their current home. To be precise, it's the real mastermind behind the contract killing. The next day, according to this typical Wanshu, the mother-in-law reveals that her biological mother is currently in a psychiatric hospital. She could lose her life at any moment. As her daughter, isn't it her duty to visit? Even though I understand the mother-in-law has ulterior motives, Wanshu still went with her brother and down to the psychiatric hospital. However, as soon as she entered the ward, there was a piercing scream. Mom. So what exactly happened?